and this is a question I want to ask to you. How important is it to get the right people to work with when putting on a comedy night and a
Yeah,
comedy show?
you mean like your team basically for running stuff.
In terms of, yeah, the venue and the owners and
Uh,
the people you work with, how important is it to get that right?
yeah, it's all about that. It's all about that. If venues aren't on board with the gigs that they've, when and every promoter and anyone who's done it will have experienced this, where it's that, when you're there, it's like you're an inconvenience or something, and it's like, oh, bloody comedy guys here. Oh, is it that time of the month again or whatever? Oh, bloody comedy guys are here again. And they sort of, try and limit you with like, oh, right, well, yeah, you're doing the comedy, but just to let you know, we've got a live band next door. And I'm saying next door, there's no door. So you're just gonna have a live band here, like in your faces. And we've made sure that we've put the two bar staff with conversational Tourette's on the bar in your part of the venue for you as well. So they're just going to talk all the fucking way through it. And when they come to collecting any empty bottles, they'll just chuck those into the bottle bin as well. And but don't come and complain, because if you do, we're just going to say, well, whatever. It's just the way it is. There's venues out there that most places need educating. And I think kind of like when you're newer in promoting and you're going out there looking for venues, you're so fixated on finding a venue and you've not had, maybe you don't have the confidence yet or the experience yet to, well, have the balls to turn down some venues and just say like, I don't think it's going to work. It's really great that you're telling me that you want there to be a comedy night here, but to be honest, I don't think it's the right sort of venue, because I think once you've been doing it for longer and you've got that confidence, or that you're a bit more ballsy about it, and probably when you've had enough nights go shitty and
Yeah.
enough fouled venue experiences, you do sort of get to that point where you're like, nah, hang on, I need to be a bit more, still polite and nice, but a bit more hardball, with the venues here, to say like, this is what you need to be doing. This is what the atmosphere that needs to be like. This is what, we can't have noise from other rooms. We can't have, no, you have to listen to us when we tell you how the furniture is going to be, not you laying it out and you putting the stage where you think the stage should go, and all those elements, because the gigs that have been around the longest and where it works the best, there's absolutely no coincidence at all that they have all got venues that are 100% behind what those, the people that are running the night, and they promote it as hard as the promoter, and they're willing to take advice, and they want it to be a success. It's no coincidence. All the venues where the best gigs are, and I'm sure people will be able to say, oh no, I run a really good gig in a shitty venue. Yeah, they do exist. I know it. But it makes your job just so much easier to be working with the right sort of venue. So when you're going out there looking for a place, it's difficult when you're new and you're so eager to start, like you've decided, I've been doing comedy for a couple of years, I want to run a comedy night as well, I'm going to get all this loads of stage time MCing, and all my mates are going to come and do gigs, and they'll be queuing around the block for it, and that kind of thing. Just sort of, yeah, don't forget, like, hunt around a bit. It doesn't need to be the first venue that you go and look at. You're better off turning down the shit ones in the, for the long term, of setting up this really amazing gig and having everything work as it should do.
Yeah, I think it's the quality is more. I mean, at the end of the day, you want stage time and you want this and that, but if the night's not good, it's not going to last, and
It,
comedians aren't going to like you, and you're not going to get what you want. If it's not a good night, audiences aren't going to come back, so you
you,
don't have.
no, you don't want a reputation for running a shit gig. You know that's the reputation that you don't want. So as keen as you are to get on stage and to be doing stuff, and to start booking, your mates in to come and do gigs and stuff like that, you you know, the comedians talk and people on the circuit talk. So I hear comics when they're at my gigs talking about other gigs that they've done and other venues that they've been to, and I'm sure people talk about me and my gigs like in other locations when they're off gigging, and will feed back on, oh, had a great gig the other night here, or fucking hell, I did a gig there last night, that was an absolute pain in the arse, you know. So it's kind of, but at the same time, and I've got to make sure I position myself correctly on this as well. I don't know if you get this down your way, but on the Northwest circuit, there's a lot of shit given to open spots, like starting gigs up from time to time, you know, from like the old guard and that kind of thing, who are either maybe protecting their own interests a little bit, or sort of think, you know, oh, so someone wants to start an open mic gig that's within a 5-mile radius of where I run my club, kind of thing, you know, and you must definitely get that down your way as well, you know, this whole kind of territorial thing that goes on, and the guarding of it as well. But it's I don't think audiences are stupid enough, you know, to think that whatever's, you know, that whatever they go to is the only comedy that's out there, and they'll understand what a professional night is and what a new night is as well. So don't get me wrong, I'm 100% behind acts going out there, as is happening in Manchester, like massive explosion of it at the moment, of all these new gigs starting up. 100%. But I guess my advice, if I was to be bold enough to give any, would just be, you don't have to dive into the first thing you find, you know.
Yeah, it's and that one of the things as well. I think I mean, if it's not, one thing that happens I've seen in America and in New York and LA and occasionally in London, is that they set up gigs in the same venue, and that is the only thing I'm against. Apart from that, it's fine. But if you got 3 comedy nights in one venue, I don't know. I just feel that it's a bit, something about it doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah. That seems odd. But then if it's in America, then it's sort of, we've explained it there, haven't we? As if they're doing a bit. It's slightly weird, to be honest with you. But if you want to run a gig, go out there and do it. But my advice would be, if you're going to all that effort, make it as good as you can, you know, get the basics right about the type of room that you go out there and find in the right venue.